Morning, everybody. Here we are. It is Sunday, October 5th. So we're just moving right along with the week, it seems like. It's been a busy, busy week for me, for sure. So this week has been full of a lot of thoughts, a lot of different things going on for me personally, a lot of work stuff, and which is good. I need the work stuff. Um, so, anyways, we're gonna jump right into this. I've got some thoughts. I was looking at everything we talked about this week, and today or this week has been a week of me making decisions about, you know, doing or being involved in um, only a certain amount of groups and having to really pull back on a couple others that I was only slightly involved in, and it's a matter of having quality over quantity. So as much as I want to be involved in a couple other aspects, um, I think it's better that I really huh, focus in on what I'm doing and whatnot. But anyways, let's open with prayer. Lord God, thank you for this day, Lord. Thank you for the fact that we can take the time to reflect on our week and enjoy your presence and have everything that you want for us revealed to us. Amen. So, in going back and recapping the week, I've got some stuff on my other screen here. Um, so it's interesting because this chapter for me spoke about my own personal weakness, self doubt, and my inner war between the flesh and the spirit, or the spirit and the flesh. And I've seen how over the past um, decade that essentially decade that's really come to a head because 10 years ago, 12 years ago, I was in um, what I would say for myself was a lucrative career. I was in project management and really, working in manufacturing and doing well for myself, and thinking I had everything under control. And I approached everything very systematically, and I had everything figured out. And I, even though I got sick and had all this cancer and all my health issues, I brought that same approach or same mentality through the health issues, which in on one hand helped me in many, many ways. So it's not all the skills that I had and all the ways I approached things isn't all bad. It's just what I did with all of that to be over controlling of my own self, and and having the mindset that if I reveal that I am failing even more so than anybody around me really understood, then I would be fully failing to myself. And that's really just not the case. However, that was a tough thing for me to get through and understand, and I'm still trying to understand it. So, however, I am accepting of it. So that's a huge thing. And obviously, I think that there's movement and growth there. But anyways, so that's kind of what this past week was about, and I think Romans in general is that way. It speaks to us personally, the book of Romans. Um, but anyways, so each day on Monday I'm looking over here. On Monday I had titled this "Bearing Fruit." Um, let's see, bearing fruit. What grows in, so it reminded me of what grows in my life reveals what is happening unseen within. So then the question, of course, that I asked is my fruit or the um, is are the words and the actions and everything that I'm producing, is it nourishing to people or is it rotten and you know just throw it out so it's of no use to anybody around me or anything. So those were sort of those introspective questions, right? And then on Tuesday we talked about knowing sin, and without knowing the law, we wouldn't have known sin, and would have just we would have just lived in sinful bliss. I guess that's the best way I can put it. Um, so so the law awakens awareness, right? So that's what we talked about, which is a good thing, to be aware of where we're at and in life and understanding our own nature. And let's see, on Wednesday and Thursday, which I think I did just a Thursday overall lesson there, holy, righteous, and good, and sin which dwells in me. And this is really where oh, this past week, for me, my week had gotten so busy and everything shifted though. And um, with these verses, I really had to take a look internally and understand the law is not my enemy, and it's a mirror. It shows me how much grace I need, right? So, what I was saying is that through this personal transition over the last 9 years, that, there's a certain amount of, like we say, law, right? There's a certain amount of healing that needs to go on. And that has revealed to me how much grace I need, or sanctification, right? How much more healing I need. So we're essentially spoon fed information or medicine, right? So we can continue to heal and become whole, or attempt to become whole. So, I mean, you can apply medical terminology to that and life transition, everything. I mean, it applies to so much. Um, so then what happened this past week? The one who wants to do good. Um, so what did I say here? My sin nature is like overgrowth, right? Thorny weeds that must be pruned, uprooted, and even torn out by force. However, that discarded waste doesn't totally go to waste. It can be used as, in terminology for flower beds or growing things. It can be turned into compost, so it can still be used for a good purpose, even though it's not good in and of itself. Um, so even internally, even though that I fail or have failed in the past, it can still be used by God for good. So I think that really gets at some of the idea of God uses all things for good, even though they might appear to be not good. Now, that doesn't mean God says go out and do bad things. It just means that, the presence of sin or the sin nature in man is there, and there's that that the fact that sin is going to occur, that whatever occurs can be used towards good. So then on Saturday, yesterday, the conflict of two natures, which really took me down a road of of this concept and this idea of how the tension between mind and flesh, right? And this idea of mind and flesh, which really got me thinking. I even last night I was working on putting together a couple articles based on my personal life story, and I submitted them to a couple of magazines, um, just as possible, um, something to include in print, in these magazines. So, but it really came down to this idea of the what was it, physical limitations, sorry, um, my cognitive fatigue related to chemotherapy, right? And sometimes my mind is not totally it ebbs and flows. It also, because of my human condition, we got to get extra sleep. There's a balance to everything. And so there's times where it's better and times where it's worse. So it's like hitting a moving target within a moving target. So anyways, so this idea that I have this cognitive fatigue, I want to do good, right? And I want to have good results, and I want to produce, and I want to be, I want to work, I want to be involved, and slowly but surely I am. But I didn't really realize how much the chemo had affected me, and not just chemo, the whole surgery process, um, the stress from it all. PTSD is actually a very real thing for people that go through heavy, life-changing surgeries and health issues. I mean, it's a real thing. So there's all of those aspects that are involved in this, and I am realizing more and more how much all of that has affected me. And it's being revealed because I am becoming more and more involved in many different aspects of my life. And so that struggle between what I want, that of the struggle of my mind and my body, and coming to terms with the fact that my flesh remains weak and my mind delights in God's law, meaning the healing from God's law. So, and the idea of the renewing of your mind. So that's what I'm needing. And I mean, our bodies are going to fail. It's just the human condition. However, when your mind is failing, it's really tough. Um, so that's what my takeaways were from all of that this week, and take it for what it's worth. Um, Take it for what it's worth. Here's some looking to the future kind of questions. How can I let Christ, not self effort, bear fruit through me this coming week? What areas of my life need pruning or surrendering to the Master Gardener? How can I use my story of struggle and deliverance to encourage others who are fighting the same battle within? So I think off the top of my head, the answers to that are um, in I, I coming to terms with the fact that I don't need to be involved in so much, and uh, and letting God work through me, or letting Christ work through me in the things that I am involved in, and understanding that I do have limitations and I need to operate within um, what I can do best, and maybe not try to push so hard. Um, so even though it's good to push and get out there and do a lot of things, it's better for the quality of the work that you can produce to just be involved in so much. Um, and that leads into this second questions. What areas of my life need pruning or surrendering? And I think it's evident for me that I've had to pull back from being involved in a couple of groups. Um, and how can I use my story of struggle and deliverance to encourage others? Well, I've some um, put together these couple articles that I submitted that will go in magazines that hopefully will go in magazines that go out nationally. That would be kind of nice. And then I'm starting to talk about um, my experiences over the past 9 years, not just surface level stuff. I'm talking about things that have gone on with me in depth. And I would say the first place that I'm really gonna lay it all out is at the group at my church, Celebrate Recovery. So, and that's, people's concept of what Celebrate Recovery is about is really, they think it's all about alcohol and drug addiction and that kind of thing. And that's just a small part of it. It's more about if you're hurting and you need healing from past hurts, it could be any number of things. That's the place that you can go to be in a space to talk about those things, whatever they are, and find healing through God. So on the surface, it seems like just an AA kind of thing, but it goes way deeper than that. So that's going to be a place where I go to really talk about my full story and all the different things that I went through, and then what I am still going through right now. And so hopefully that will be helpful. I've been told that it will be to those around me. So that's where we're at with everything this past week and what has been going on with me. And so this coming week, we are going to be going through Romans 8, and it should be pretty revealing, I think. I went through some of it this morning, and that is going to be titled Healing and Transformation. So that will be the weekly theme, and I'll lay it all out in my notes. So take a look at the notes and connect with me on all the different social platforms. I'm on Facebook, and Instagram, Twitter, a bunch of it. But feel free to message me, and I wouldn't mind having somebody on. We could do maybe a live stream or do something along those lines and talk about different things that have gone on each other's lives and how it relates to these different uh, sections in the Bible, and maybe get into some deeper theological discussions. So that's what I know. Um, and you guys have a blessed day. Take care, and we will talk soon. Bye bye.